What's happening, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions, and join me today for Hidden Gems. That's right, we got 5 graphic novel hidden gems for the month of May of 2023. So let's get started. And welcome back, everybody. This is one of my favorite segments where I just walk around my library and pick out 5 books that I don't think get enough recognition, or 5 books that I read and it's fresh on the mind. I'm like, oh, I gotta tell people about these. And of course, always, please leave comments down below. Let me know what 5 hidden gems, or 1 hidden gem, 2 hidden gem that I should check out are. And if you want to go back, I do have a playlist for hidden gems. You're more than welcome to check those out. But I love making these because these are books that don't get enough love and recognition out there. Or at least I don't see it. And a big thank you to my buddy James for watching every single one of these hidden gems and making them big master lists so I don't double dip on a book. Because this happened a couple of times where I've been doing it for so many years that I bring back a book because I'm like, I've never talked about this book. And yeah, I have. So hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, because we put out videos every day, and that little bell will remind you when our videos are going live. Let's go ahead and start with a book from TKO Publishing. This is the Fearsome Dr. Fang by Zed Chun and Mike Weiss and Dan McCade. So this is an all-in-one story, so you don't need any other graphic novels outside of this. And TKO is a company that has published books at the same time, bringing them out in single issues and putting them in graphic novel format, and then there's a box set. Now, I've talked about Sarah, and I've talked about Sentient, and I think a lot of people have. Those books get a lot of recognition. We have names like Jeff Lemire and, of course, Garth Ennis. But they have so many books that are a lot of fun, and this is being one of them. So let me give you the quick premise of this. This is all set in 1904. It takes place in San Francisco. We meet this one character named Nayland Kelly. He's kind of your beat cop who seeks revenge on this mythical villain, Dr. Fang, for killing his brother. Now, with Alice LaCroix, she's a treasure hunter. They both travel around the world to recover an artifact stolen by the criminal mastermind, Dr. Fang. And as it turns out, Dr. Fang isn't really a mastermind of evil. He is actually an undercover agent who's trying to keep this artifact out of the hands of the real villain. And you can find out who the real villain is by reading the book. So this real villain wants to unleash this ancient power on the world and will destroy the world. What I liked about it is that you think you're following the adventures of Kelly, but he's just revealed to be not the greatest hero. He kind of makes not even a good sidekick. He's kind of a bumbling fool sometimes, but really is Dr. Fang, who's more like Batman meets the Phantom, meets Zorro, meets Doc Samson, and it's those kind of stories that you're going to find in here. And also the character of LaCroix. She's not the damsel in distress, but she's more like Indiana Jones. And I think that's what I enjoyed about this, the twists and turns, and there's a lot more in there. This one is rated teen because of just a little bit of action-adventure type of violence that you're going to find in the book. I really like the simplicity to the artwork by McCade. Kind of reminds me of Darwin Cook or Bruce Timm, that kind of cartoonish art style with a little more detail. So this one was a lot of fun, and that's why I decided to kick it off with a fun book this time around. Salamandre by I.N.J. Colbert. This is published by Dark Horse Comics. It's also one of their Burger books. So the dimensions on this one is a little bit different than your standard trade paperback. Just like the dimensions of the TKO book was bigger than your trade paperbacks. Now, this one I just recently read, probably about 2 months ago, and it's fresh on the mind. And I wanted to do it justice because I'm like, I really need to push how much I enjoyed this book. I loved this book. It brought me to tears. So let me just tell you what this is about. And before I do, this one is probably rated teen. So this is set in an alternate reality, and we meet the character of Caspar Salamandre. He's a young boy who is a great artist and also has an amazing relationship with his father. He idolizes his father so much that he makes this superhero comic called Swan Salamandre. It's the adventures of a diving superhero that wears a diving suit, just like his father does for a living. He's a diver. So one day his dad goes on this mission to go diving and forgets his lucky watch at home. And Caspar notices and he's like, oh, I gotta get dad his lucky watch, he forgot it. And unfortunately, his father ends up dying in this mission. So he is just shaken to the core. He's destroyed. Everything that he idolized is gone, and the comic that he's working on, he just puts to the side because the inspiration is now gone. So his mom doesn't really know what to do with him. She's tried so many different things. So she ends up sending him to another island, another country, with his grandfather. So in this country, this particular land, it is so different than the world he comes from, because this land is ruled under an oppressive regime where there can only be one person that everybody idolizes, and that is this emperor. Like, everybody has portraits of the emperor in their house. You're not allowed to have any family portraits up. So he finds himself living under this regime where music and art are completely illegal, and the only person that you're supposed to draw is this emperor. So I love how he's trying to find a new life. I love how he figures out that there could be some kind of secret conspiracy that his family from this other country is holding, and you don't know where it's gonna go. You don't know if they're smuggling art. Oh, it's just a beautiful story, and oh my gosh, this one made me cry twice, at the beginning and at the end. So just be ready for that. It's a beautiful relationship between father and son, and also the journey of an aspiring artist. Why you don't give up your art, why you keep doing it. And speaking of art, the art in here is just so beautiful. It has a very cartoony feel to it, but I like it. I mean, of course, he's the writer on the book too, so it does help set the tone of the book. Again, rated teen and only available in trade paperback format, but completely worth checking out. Stargazer by Anthony Cleveland and Antonio Fuso. This is published by Mad Cave Studios. Now, this is an all-in-one. I kind of wish there was more, though. This one is rated Teen Plus. Read it, Uncanny Omar Talk Pretty one day. And this one here takes place in 1999 and in 2019. So you keep going back and forth, back and forth. So you learn about the story and how it's set up, and then the characters in what was present time in 2019. So this is the story of Shay and her younger brother, Kenny. Now, Shay takes Kenny to a party in 1999. It's just not really a party. It's her and her friends are outside, and he just wanted to go see the stars. And he gets hungry, and he asks one of the friends if, hey, do you have anything? And he's one of the friends is like, yeah, I got a hot dog in here. Friend gets the bag, and out of the bag is this sheet of acid. So LSD, drugs. And for some reason, they end up touching it. Now, that's kind of where the story begins, because when they touch this sheet of acid, it seems like all of them are exposed to this really weird hallucination. At one point, Kenny falls, and he ends up having this strange encounter with the third kind. Or is it the first kind? The fourth kind, where he actually meets aliens, where he's taken on a spaceship and he meets aliens. And he's brought back, and he keeps having dreams about these aliens. Now, we fast forward 20 years, and Kenny has just become this isolated adult. He doesn't want to be around anybody. He keeps calling his sister, telling her about these dreams he keeps having. He keeps reminding her that they're coming back. And she's like, I don't know what to do with him. So eventually he disappears. I'm not going to tell you how. And she ends up teaming up with Avi, who is this podcaster that lives in a trailer and wants to be shut off from all society, and also a conspiracy theorist and believes in aliens. And she teams up with not just him, but her friends from the past. All three of them return to help her find her brother. Now, there is conspiracy theories in here. There's the government cover-ups. But you should really read it, because I think it's a really interesting read that has a lot more to do with dreams than alien abductions. And then you have to ask the question, were they really alien abductions, or was everybody just on drugs? Is that what's going on? So I like this one. This was definitely one that I didn't know exactly where it was going to go. And the art by Fuso really reminds me of Jock or Andre Sorrentino. So if you're into UFOs or conspiracy theories, X-Files, this one might be for you. Or I guess things like Paper Girls or Stranger Things. These Savage Shores by Ron V and Vittorio Astone. This is published by Vault Comics. Now, recently I did a first look at 3 Vault comic graphic novels that are coming out later this month and in June. And one of my viewers said, oh, have you read this? And I'm like, oh, I love that book. I'm a big fan of Heathens. But have you read These Savage Shores? And he was like, no. And I had somebody on the Saturday stream ask me what one of the best Vault comics was. And I guess I didn't push this enough. We did an old reader, new reader on it. I don't think I did a review. It's been quite a number of years. I don't think I did a proper review. But anyway, this one here is mature content, and it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite Vault book. Barbaric's getting up there, though. So it's an all-in-one. All you need is this book. This is set in the 1760s, and it's basically 3 stories in here. It gets a little complicated, and I don't want to spoil exactly what it is, but I have to talk about the 3 stories. So if you trust me and you trust my taste, then stop watching now, go to the next book. But if you want to know a little bit more, here we go. So the first story is about this vampire that gets exiled from London and sent over to India. Now, keep in mind, again, it's the 1760s. And when he goes across the pond and ends up in India, he runs across this Indian demon, a Rakshasa, who is pretty much the focus of the second part of the book. So the last story arc is about a vampire hunter and his travels to this new land. Now, this is during the 1760s, and I keep pushing that date because this is an era that isn't really talked about in comics, not in India. So there's a lot of things that were going on here, and a lot of historical fiction, if you will. Because you are adding vampires and other demons in here. And so there's a lot of Indian lore that I wasn't aware of. And it's really cool to get to learn it through this particular book. So there's also a love story in here. So I guess the love story is part of the second story. But anyway, so this exiled vampire ends up getting killed because he's trying to feed on this local girl. So the vampires in England demand revenge. And in the midst of all this, there's a political movement happening in East India. So we have vampire versus demons, we have the armies of the British coming in, we have the sultans, and they're all about to clash. And like I said, a love story is also part of this. And I like the way that this story is done too. It's all told directly through letters of various characters in this particular graphic novel, because you get a little bit of time with everyone. You get a little bit of time with the character of Bishan and Corey, and a little bit of time with the vampire and the vampire hunter. It's also the prince. So even though it may seem like there's a lot of characters, it's pretty straightforward. It is drawn so beautiful. There's gorgeous land shots, and the battles all look horrific, like a real battle should. I'm not talking about the battles between the demon and the vampires. And the character designs are great. It's only available in trade paperback, but hopefully one day we'll get some kind of hardcover collection, because I believe this is one of their most popular titles, and it rightly deserves the oversized hardcover treatment. Again, mature content, and oh, so good. And the last book I'm going to be talking about today is Dead Body Road. This is by Justin Jordan, Matteo Scalera, and published by Image Comics. Now, this is one that's all in done. You don't need any more. There is a follow-up to this, but I don't think it focuses on the characters that are in here. Or I can't imagine how. Maybe a side character. Definitely mature content. Absolutely mature content because of the violence in here. So this, you may be familiar with the names of Justin Jordan because of Luther Strode, and Matteo Scalera because of Black Science. Both of them have blown up, but I believe they worked on this in 2013. So this is definitely an ode to an action crime revenge story. It all starts off with this bank robbery, and Jimmy is the hacker of the bank robbers. He is a retired hacker now working with bank robbers. Now, what he ends up hearing is a bunch of gunshots, so he thinks something is wrong. And them stealing physical money is just a smokescreen for the actual crime that they're committing, which is hacking into people's accounts, why they need the character of Jimmy. So what ends up being the gunshots that he hears is a bank robbery gone wrong. There's so many dead people at the beginning of this story. The bank robbers are like, well, yeah, things went a little bit south, and he runs away. Now, he runs away with some of the money, and he runs away with a digital card that has all that information. So the bank robbers are after him. One of the people that got killed is Anna, the wife of our main character. So we haven't even introduced our main character yet. So the local police end up informing Orson Gage, he's an ex-policeman himself, who used to work on the same task force, that his wife was killed during the heist, trying to protect the bank. I think she was a security guard for the bank. So Gage has nothing left in life to live for and sets out on a revenge spree to go and kill every single one of his wife's murderers. They're all led by this man named Lake, and Lake wants that money, he wants the card back. And Jimmy has already thought ahead, and he ended up giving his money and the digital card information to his wife. Now, she becomes a big part, what is her name? Rachel, I think. She becomes a big part of the story and teams up with Orson to go and take down these villains. And it is violent. There's a lot of amazing car chase scenes in here, gratuitous violence, and it gets over the top sometimes, but I loved it. Scalero's artwork is perfect for this. It's got that sketchy art style, but the book is so gritty that I think it really fits. So expect a lot of deaths in here. It may or may not have a happy ending, I don't know, but definitely mature content. And like I said, there's a follow-up, but I don't think it has anything to do with these characters. Now, if you're interested in purchasing any of the books I talked about, check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget, the CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the hidden gems for the month of May of 2023. In the comments down below, let me know what book you've read recently that no one's talking about, or what you've heard of, or what you've loved for decades that no one has ever brought up. Again, we do have a playlist for the hidden gems if you want to go back, and every October I try to do something spooky, something horror-based, and I don't know, I have a lot of fun with these because these are books that I don't think get enough recognition. Thank you again to our patrons for making videos like this possible. Could not be doing this without you all. And thank you all so much for watching. Smash that like button on the way out. Stay healthy and safe out there. Keep reading. Much love.